Hey guys, Atlas Gaming here, and today I wanted to do a real quick video of a couple of my ships. We'll start with the biggest and most obvious one. So this is the Roon, and some of you, let me turn on the jetpack here, may recognize this ship somewhat. And that's because it's actually an Orion layout. So the Roon has been reconfigured, a bunch of new parts, but it started off life as an Orion class vessel. So what you'll notice is the engines are very similar to the Orion. Some of the side windows are the same. Some of the weapons placements are the same, but the interior is fairly different. One big obvious notable thing is I've got a massive landing deck on top, and the gun platforms have been changed around. Anyway, we'll go through. I'll show you a bunch of the differences, but I also encourage you to check out the Orion. You may like that layout better. It's about the same size ship. The Orion's maybe just a tiny bit smaller. But that's definitely what the Roon's based on. So I will put a link down in the comments for the Orion original ship as well. So why don't we start at the back where most people probably will. There we go. And I've got another ship parked in here. Not very well. So what you'll notice here is it's not a particularly large hangar, but it's fairly tall, and I wanted that because some of the ships that I might want to bring in here, especially to use the rep bay that you can see on the floor, have weapons mounted on top of the ship, so they're fairly tall. You got some fuel tanks out here. These are actually a very small percentage of the fuel tanks. There's a lot more fuel tanks on board the ship, and a ton of storage. So you can see when we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on this side, have another 6 on the other side, right there. There's a lot of storage on this ship. That's also one of the differences that in the reconfiguration, I've added a lot more storage than the Roon originally had, or the Orion originally had to the Roon. Of course, we got the rep station down here, rep console, got your health right there, O2 supply down here, and you've got some stuff hanging off the ceiling. So this is one of two advanced constructors here. This is a rep station. Now, if we walk through here, you'll see a sort of a 1950s diner type look. You have a fridge, a cooking station, a kitchen countertop for doing your cooking, and then you have a sofa lounge area with a TV to relax. Armor station down here, and then you'll see this is the main elevator. So this elevator actually starts below this deck. We go down, this is 1. You go down to 0, you can see there's a shutter with a trapdoor that lets you get out below the ship. Now, I have no weapons mounted, and that is on purpose because I'd like to spawn ships in with no weapons, and then either reuse weapons I already have, or just kind of keep the costs down and let people pick and choose how many weapons they put on. But normally, wherever you see these little circle X's is a good mounting spot for a weapon. So let's come back here. Now, you can walk up and it will open automatically, but also push you back. So what I do is generally not wait for it to auto-open, just kind of click on that space, wait for it to open, and then walk in here. So that was floor 0. Floor 1 is where we came in. We go up, we'll get to floor 2. And here we have an expanded growing area, and I say expanded because there is a growing area on the Orion as well. I've expanded it out to be a little bigger. And again, more storage. You can never have too much storage wherever you're doing construction stuff. So you'll see this blue area is actually our first constructor, and the green is the second. And then this is the rep station. Now we have another fridge there, storage, another fridge there, another fridge there, and of course grow lights for this whole area. And actually some light coming in from the sides, but yes, all the grow plot, all of them get enough lighting. So on the left side, we have a crew quarters cabin. Has a bathroom, a couple of cots, and their own window to look out at the sky. Now we get out here on the other side. Similar type of situation. This is the captain's quarters, a little nicer, but same basic setup. We have a bed, we have a shower here, Now, I know there's a shower in here and the bathroom in there, so they are going to have to go through each other's quarters, but this way the captain actually gets to enjoy a little nicer environment and have a shower without leaving the cabin. Now we go up to the third floor. This is the command deck. And I've actually put in crew in here just because I think it's a little more interesting. So that's where the gold pieces come from in the price of the ship. So if you hit this and we go to stats, you'll see that there's 3 gold ingots, and those correspond to the 3 crew on board this ship. But I think it's a small price to pay for having a little more crew. And of course the bridge is decked out rather nicely. So this is the captain's chair. You've got your navigator, you've got your weapons officer, and somebody else. But if you keep walking forward, you'll see another spot down here. Now this is not the captain's seat. This would be the navigator / mining seat. So normally when you're flying the ship, you're flying it like this as the captain. But when you're up next to an asteroid and you're doing a little mining, you're actually sitting up nice and close. Get right up in there. So additional station down there with a little more visibility. So ventilators all around. And then we can keep going up. You'll see an arrow. And this actually opens up a hatch on the top deck. And oh, what's this? That's not the ship. Yes, this is actually another one of my ships. So this is a, oops, yeah, that'll close automatically, but we have to manually close this guy. Oops, is that the lever? There we go. That manually closed that guy. So this is my tour van, safari van, whatever you want to call it. It's a fun little project that I was just playing around with. Let me exit out so you can see this a little better as well. I'd call it a tour bus, I think. And it's essentially a completely defenseless vessel, but something that has great visibility. And the idea is this is a tour bus, tour shuttle. It's a small vehicle, so this can actually go up beyond the atmosphere into space. But what it's for is for flying around, watching the wildlife, high enough, hopefully you're not getting shot. You can see there's a ton of lighting all the way around. People that are passengers are sitting up a little bit higher in the back. They have a little better visibility. You can see out the top as well as the sides. And it has this airlock. So if you're compatible with another airlock, with another ship, then you can actually enter and exit this vessel while preserving the O2 integrity without using these side doors, which obviously are not going to be great for for keeping oxygen in. So you have the tour guide seat back there, you have the passenger seats back here, and then you have the driver's seat over here. 2 levers on here. So you saw that one opens up the hatch. This one, let's see, what does this one do? I don't even remember. Come on. Oh, that opens up all the doors. That's what it is. So this is all doors open or all doors closed. And they can, of course, still be opened and closed individually as well. So let me just take this guy up. So this can help me show another feature of the Orion, and you kind of saw it a little bit there. God, I keep saying Orion. Of the Roon, an Orion class vessel. So this is the Roon from the back as you're approaching. You can see you've got really bright yellow lights on the sides there to kind of guide you towards a landing. You've got arrows, you've got some red stripes like an airport would. Oh, look at that, red lights lit up. So what that indicates is you're going in the right direction down the flight path. So if I'm a little bit off to the side, those lights don't lit up. So if I can go like this, I'll totally miss those red lights. I'll miss my landing. If I'm in the zone, the lights light up. So I'm going to hit my landing. So I just keep going, kind of following the red lights. And as I keep going, they'll turn off, and you'll see a green light. Now, what that green light indicates is I'm now in a good spot to land on deck B, which is right here. So, but I don't want to land on B. I want to go through the trapdoor at Alpha. So I'll keep going, and the light turns off, and I keep going, And eventually, green light will turn on here. There we go. Green light's on. I just go straight down for landing. Get out. Now let's take a look. How good did we land? Look at that. Landed perfectly. So we landed right here, right where the hatch is. And I did it without having to go into third-person mode. And the reason you can do that, of course, is because of those landing lights. They'll help you land in a way that you just wouldn't be able to see without going into third-person mode. So let me go back down here. I'll show you a couple more things about this ship. So the Roon has 2 elevators. So that's the main one that goes from below the ship all the way up to the flight deck. And this is a second elevator. And there's a reason I had to put this in. And by the way, there are 3 elevators in the Orion, but only one of them goes up to the top flight deck, and then the other 2 just go up 2 levels basically, or 3 levels, I guess. But anyway, I wanted to use some of that space for storage, so I've got 2. That one is a full height elevator, top to bottom. This one just goes up to the flight deck, or actually just below the flight deck, and gets you out here. Now this is actually not a stairs, it's a grate over the engine, but you can certainly jump up, walk over it, and you'll see a switch up here on the top deck. So you can flip this switch to turn the guidance system on and off. So those landing lights are pretty neat when you're landing, but if you're just walking around and you're trying to load up your gear, they're kind of annoying. There's too much light that pops on. It's too bright, and the reason, of course, it's bright is because it's meant to be seen from a long distance away. But just so you don't have to be bothered by that, you can switch that off. So the idea is, if you're leaving, you go up here, you turn the landing lights on, and then you take off in your ship. Oh, shouldn't have jumped there. And should have closed that up. All right, let's try that again. Close. Oops. No. Where am I? What happened? How did I get here? That was a fast drop. Holy cow. Okay, so let's close this guy so I don't fall down. There we go. And let's take this ship. Actually, you know, I wonder if we can leave this. Yeah, let's just leave this where it is. I do want to turn the engines off in case they're on. There we go. Get out of here. I'll take the shuttle out. So that's the 3rd ship I can show you real quick here too. So go down here, and you saw where the core is. Go over here. Now this is the shuttle, and I'll take it out. I'll bring it up top so you can see it a little better. It's roughly based on at least the color scheme of the United States Space Shuttle. It's obviously nowhere near as long as the Space Shuttle, but I had a consideration that I wanted to make sure this was short enough that I could park it in this relatively shallow hangar. And I think I did that barely. I mean, it is close. It does fit, and it does allow me to close the door, but y'all can see that there's hardly any room back here. So one of the features of this ship is I've got a nice little ladder here, which of course doesn't work as a ladder, but you have to use your jump pack, jump up here. Now I've got little side doors. So if you climb the ladder or jump pack, then you can open up the side door and enter the ship without having to go around. Let me start this bad boy up. Notice it closed the side doors. Back this up. There we go. Let me go up a little bit. So I can actually park this on top on the landing deck, flight deck as well. So I'll do approach, kind of like I did the other one. Okay, we're in the right path. And then I just basically keep going until I see green. There we go. Now I see green. If I go down, land, shut off the power, get out. Let's see how good of a landing that was. Not bad. So it's well within, whoa. It's well within the zone here. Now, this is a little longer ship than the other ones I usually use, so it does stick out the back end a little more. So I might manually move it up just a tad, but you could see where, you know, this would be the suggested length of this ship. This one is a little tiny guy, so he actually doesn't take up much space. So I'm going to pull this up forward a little bit. All right, come on. Door. Okay, now you can see why you might want to turn those lights off, right? Because they're a little annoying. Once you've made the landing, you're back here. Turn that off. Okay. So let's, where am I? Well, I'm back up here. Get in there. And let's pull up just a little bit. I made like that. Okay. Well, you saw one of the features, which is there's a door on each side that'll allow you to get in the ship from up here. I thought I'd turn it off. Well, doesn't matter. We'll go out the other way. Now, if I walk around the back, and if I turn on signals, which are probably off right now, take a look. Yep, signals are off. Now signals are on. It should lower the ramp, and you can see it opened up a door, but there's still a closed door. Almost all of my ship designs have a dual door design, and there's two reasons for that. One is I think it creates a little bit more protection. If you get hit in the back, you have 2 doors worth of HP to go through. And the other one, I think it's a little more realistic to have a dual door. So the one that opens automatically will open for anything that runs by here, anybody coming through. The second one, I don't have a code on it, but you do have to manually open it. And you can see that they both close automatically. So the way I've got it set up in the logic is this one will always be a manual open. This one will be a manual or an automatic opening, and the ramp will go automatically. But when they close, all of those close automatically. Let me go back in here again. Go back up the ramp, manually open, and this is the inside of the shuttle. I did try to sort of make it look a little bit like the real US shuttle, obviously way, way, way smaller. And you can see in the photos that I did on the Steam page, this can be configured as either seating, and you can have, I think it's 16 people seated in here if you just replace the lockers with all seats. So you'll have 2, 4, 6, 8 on this side, 2, 4, 6, 8 on this side. And then you can actually put 2 seats facing rearward instead of these white storage boxes. So what is that? 16 plus 2, 18 plus the captain or pilot. So 19 people can be in the shuttle. But I'm playing solo, so I just need the storage space. And you can see there's lots of open room for adding even more storage space. We've got an O2 station. We've got a couple of fridges, so you can carry lots of stuff. Tons and tons of storage. And an armor locker. So lots of stuff on board the ship. I can actually hop up here as a passenger, get a little bit of a view. You can now see the side doors, how they open. There's one on each side, of course. And there's the pilot station. And then the biggest thing, like the space shuttle, it's got to have an opening top, right? Because that's how they brought all the satellites up into orbit. So lots of uses for that opening top. You can jetpack your way up. You can, if you're off the ship and you're trying to climb up into it fast, you can just vault over the front of the ship or the side of the ship and just get right in here. So no matter where on the roof you land, if the roof is open, you'll be inside the ship. If the ship is tipped over or tilted, this makes another easy way to get in. If the ship is on its, I mean, there's 3 exits, right? There's actually 4. So there's a door on each side, the roof opens up, and of course the back opens up. So lots of, oh, come on. Lots of ways to get in and out. So, oh yeah. So technically, there's barely but just enough space that you can be here in an airlock, right? So both doors are closed. You're still in here, but you can't really move. You can barely run. And if the ship is at all at an angle, it's going to do what you just saw. It's going to have you bouncing up and down, up and down. But I really like the dual door design. All right, so let's open everything up. So you can see everything, well, except for that doors. Let's open that up. Now, if we come here, bring up our panel, you can see that I've got some signals mapped. So doors, if you turn that off, it'll close all the doors, including the roof. Green is everything's open. So let's go ahead and close it. Get rid of P. And you can see everything. Well, it doesn't close these two. But it does close the roof and the two side doors. Yeah, I guess for these, you either have to go in and out or manually close it. Like that. Okay, so we're in here. What else have I got? Fridge is on its own control. You generally want to make sure that that's green. I've spoiled lots of meat in the fridge by not having a fridge running when I thought it was. Constructor is on its own power. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, this does have a constructor. It's right underneath the seats, so it's well hidden. It's not as tall as it normally is, but it's right there in the middle. So if we turn that on, constructor, it'd be more obvious to see. It's right underneath the seat. But that's a big power drain, so I usually keep that off. And then the last thing you'll notice is turbo. So let me go out. I think it's still running. So you can see what that is. So you can see we're on the quote-unquote normal engine configuration. We have 2 engines on the side. One of them's not operating. We have 3 in the back, and 4 of them are turned off. Same thing here, 3 on the side instead of 4. And the front and back and the bottom each have 2, so we leave those 2 alone. So what the turbo does, if we, let me get out of the way here. If we hit the P button, do turbo, now you can see it turned everything else on. So you got all 5 engines on the back. Actually, how many? 5, 6, 7. All 7 engines on the back instead of 3. All 3 on this side and 3 on the other side instead of just 2. What would be the reason for having that switch? Well, this is not a horribly large vessel, right? I think it's still class 1, but you can see. Let me just fly up so we're not stationary. Okay, so we've got 7 hours, 22 minutes of fuel. So we're obviously hovering. We're not burning much fuel. If we turn off turbo by shutting down some of those engines, oh come on, that should update. Okay, maybe it doesn't. All right, here, I'll show you this. Turbo on, close that, show everything. Okay, yeah, it's decompressing. So keep an eye out for the lower right-hand corner for the number of power left. So we are at 442, we're just hovering. So going full power drops to 124 power left. Okay, now let's hit P, turn off turbo. Hovering, full power, 210. So not quite double, but we're getting an extra, 70, 80 minutes of flight time. Is this thing full? Not even full. So let's fill it up and see what the full flight time is. So flight time without turbo is, well, let's not turn it, 242 in normal flat straight flight. Now let's turn turbo on and do the same flat flight. 142. So 100 minutes. That's an hour and a half that you gain by not having turbo on. Your max speed is still the same, right? It's all on how fast you get there. So if we're stopped, turbo on. All right, there we go. Probably 2 seconds to get to 40. 1,001, 1,000, yeah, about a second and a half to 2 seconds. Turn turbo off. 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, 1,000. Okay, so less than 4 seconds to get to 50. So that's the trade-off. When you're fighting, when you're in combat, every second counts. You want to be able to evade those missiles, to get away from the enemy, to accelerate really quickly after you've stopped, or maybe you've changed direction, you're going in reverse. So let's do full reverse. There we go, 50 back, turbo off, full forward. Okay, now let's turn the turbo on. So let's go full back. You're going full back. Now you want to change direction, go full forward. Boom, full forward, just like that. So turn turbo on when you're in combat. I generally will turn it off if I'm not in combat, just to have more fuel around and not worry about it as much. Because I have run out of fuel, that's for sure. Alrighty, now where am I parked? I am down here, I think. I don't remember. Somewhere out here. Yeah, that's where all my stuff is. So let's do one more landing, and that will wrap it up for this quick look at some of the Atlas vessels. There are other ships that I've made and published that are not part of this preview, either because I'm still working on them or because I don't use them a whole lot or for whatever other reason. You can see some of them that are available, but I'm not talking about right now over here. And of course, there's my vertical miner sitting right there. For those of you that have seen it, it's a very unusual ship. It basically lets you mine from the top down, but there's some tricks to be able to do that. That'll be in its own video. All right, so let me land this thing. So I just kind of line it up roughly between those two yellow dots, and then just start coming in and start looking for the light. Oh, I turned off the lights. So I'm not gonna have the lights. Okay, all right. I gotta cheat then. I gotta fly over, turn the lights on, blip, run back here. All right. Get in from the back. There we go. Okay, there's the lights. So let's back up. Okay, so that's what I meant to do. So here we are on approach. Just there we go. We got the red lights, means we're on the right path. And then just start slowly going forward. Oh, there he is. The green light. So if I land right now, I'll be in the zone, but I know this ship's a little longer. So I'm actually going to go forward a little more and then drop it down. And shut off the power. Yeah, you can see how bright that red light is. Okay, so that was a pretty good landing. It's not perfect, it's not 100%, but it's very straight compared to what you could do if you didn't have those guidance lights. All right, guys, there's a quick look at 3 of my designs, and again, full credit to the Orion as the basis for the Roon. The Roon will always be called an Orion Class vessel, and no matter what kind of changes I make to it. And hopefully you enjoyed it. Bye-bye.